All right, so let's do this. Weird lighting and all. Who cares? All right, so this is on the distinctions between ESI and LSI. This is something that people have brought up as being kind of difficult to figure out the difference, or that they're easily confused. So they kind of wanted to see, how do you tell the difference? Basically, I think in the most pragmatic approach to this, the fastest, most direct way to talk about it, you're looking for the distinctions between FI and TI. Okay, it's kind of obvious in a way. So an LSI is governed by TI. ESI is dominated or governed by FI. Right? This conveys a very different tone, a different flavor to what these people are doing. So both types are, of course, can be seen as being very rigid, not very flexible-minded, not very open to a lot of other things. There's a lot of stuff that they basically have in the middle, which is the same. I'm talking about the structure, the elements, and where they are within the function slots. In other words, these two types both have SE as creative functions. They both have NI as mobilized functions. They both are going to have the same polar, where they have NE as polar or vulnerable function that they're both bad at. So there's a lot of stuff going on here in the middle that makes them very, very similar, right? Generally speaking, when you see them, okay, pragmatically, the person's in front of you, you're trying to figure it out. You're kind of trying to look for quadra values. But to be more specific, you're really looking for the difference between TI and FI. So bottom line, an LSI is basically talking about ideological things. They have a certain framework of looking at the world in general as a whole, a certain way they like things to be done, a certain way they're approaching getting things done. It is logical in its nature, it's rational, there's reasoning behind it, or they'll try to provide reasoning behind it, and it's not directed at specific individuals. And that's the key point. That's the takeaway from this whole conversation. They have a certain viewpoint on how things should be, how the world works, or how things should get done, regardless of the individual involved. It's all about just in general, how everybody should do this. This is the way we all should go about it. This is TI and FE at work. You're setting down a rule, a law, a way of thinking about things that you believe applies to everyone, regardless of the person or circumstance. Right? This binds the group together. FI, for an ESI, is about the individual. They're not creating a rule structure that they think everyone needs to follow the same way, regardless of the person. It's the exact opposite of that. They are directing their attention to specific people, even calling them out, pointing it out. That guy, him, Bob. I either like Bob or I don't like Bob. I have a problem with Bob. It's not I have a problem with people who do this. It's I have a problem with that guy. It's much more directed at individuals. FI types, especially an ESI, will likely give a lot more specific character reasons why they don't like somebody, right? They're attacking the person's character. They're saying something like, that's a bad guy because this is not any other. So why would somebody behave like that? If I were that person, I wouldn't want to compromise my personal integrity over something. That guy is doing that. They start making questions of that person. Why would you do that? You're a bad guy. This is not any other. All the comments that they're making is very directed at the individual and to attack the individual's character, who they are underneath it. Right? They may at times, because of this, get called out for being hypocritical. This is the flip side. This is where they're not doing the TI thing. They're being more hypocritical because they may allow people they do care about to kind of get away with stuff or deserve more. They demand things in favor of the people they care about. that they wouldn't do the same thing for others. And it's blatantly obvious. It's kind of clear who they're playing favorites with, who they're really liking and who they're not, and that those favorites of theirs should get more, deserve more, should be treated better, whatever, than these other people over here. The TI individual, like an LSI, would not go that way. To them, it's the opposite. Everyone deserves the same. We should make a rule or a structure where everyone is treated the same underneath the structure. That's what you're looking for. What kind of arguments are they making? What kind of way are they going about stuff? To give a few more pragmatic examples, day-to-day examples, I'll use my, whatever. I'll use my father's, again, another example of this, who I think is LSI. Again, one of those people lay down rules for coaching, right? This is a team, we're a team, everybody on this team follows the same procedures, the same way of doing things, the same way to warm up, the same way to go about wearing your uniform and everything else, the time you show up, whatever. If somebody breaks one of those rules, does not show up on time, is not following the right protocol, that person gets called out and they're forced to do it right or punished in some way. Maybe they get benched, maybe they get taken out of a game or something like that, whatever. There's a punishment that will be enforced. And it doesn't matter who it is, regardless of the individual. So it could be me, it could be their son. It doesn't matter. They will enforce the same standard and apply the same punishments, basically, even on their own family members and so on. They believe everybody follows that, and that's their approach to things. Lord knows I had plenty of punishments and so on, that there was no playing no favorites. Principles will matter too, right? They'll say, like, look, it's about the principle of the matter. It's about this. It's about maintaining that structure, that rules in place, and you have to enforce the rules. If you have rules and you don't enforce them, we'll go to the rules. It's that mindset, that attitude. That person will probably say that or something to that effect. And again, has nothing to do with the individual. They will put aside their personal feelings in favor of the rules. This is why LSIs are often discussed as being an archetype of a police officer or a judge or a lawyer, somebody involved in law and order like that, or believes in kind of a law and order structure, whatever. Not that the person has to be in law and order, it's the archetype of it. People often throw drill sergeant, like a military drill sergeant, another good archetype, right? Where they're there to enforce the rules. All the soldiers are the same. No one is special. Everyone is to be treated the same way. Everybody has to do the same chores, tasks, whatever, to the same standard regardless. Your personal feelings are irrelevant. That's the point. That's what you're looking for, an individual who's in that camp. ESI, with FI lead, again, throws that out the window. They're much more interested in the people they care about. Those are the people that they try to get everything for those people or put them on some kind of a higher pedestal while disregarding everyone else, or maybe even at the expense of other people. They can be very hypocritical in that way. Sometimes they do feel sorry about that. They will get caught understanding they are being a little hypocritical, and they'll sort of back off. They'll realize that they are doing that. And then there's some that do it unabashedly. They don't even care at all. They're like, I'm doing it. I don't give a crap if I'm breaking rules like that. Or they'll at least seem that way. They'll portray themselves like that. And that's basically what you're looking for. It's really how are they approaching these strict behaviors that they're doing, or what seems like strict, rigid behavior. Are they focused at individuals, prioritizing playing favorites, making character judgments? That person sucks, and they always suck. They're always a bad person. Or what they did there, oh, that's terrible of them. They're such a liar, bad person, whatever. Or the opposite. That person is so amazing. Oh my God, everything they did is just great. I love them. They're so fantastic. Oh my God. You see these extremes in those responses. I really dislike them. I really like them. And probably with poor reasoning as to why they like them. They just do. It's pure sentiment. I love that guy. He's great. He's fantastic. Yeah, why? He's just amazing. He's just, he's so talented. Yeah, but aren't there a lot of people that are talented? But why that guy? They don't give good reasons. Again, LSI, it's more about the uniformity of the matter. It's about the principles of it. It's not, they try to avoid ever making things personal. Doesn't mean that they never make things personal. They can, if somebody's really that bad. But by and large, it's not personal. It's not. LSIs may even back out of situations because they're like, look, this is the way I like to operate. This is the way I do stuff. And that's not the culture here. That's not what you guys do or whatever. So you know what? I'm just going to back out and go this way. You do you, boo, and I'm going to do me. And like whatever. They might approach it that way too. So bottom line, that's what you're looking for. You may see that right away with somebody, or it might take you some time before you clearly see the trend, the pattern that they're always going after the individual, or they're always going after the principle of the matter. Okay, so hopefully that's not too rambly and that gets there. Like, subscribe, leave your comments, and so on. As you guys know by now, I respond quite a bit. So on to the next thing.